She stood there, arms crossed, her voice sharp as a scalpel, delivering words I'll never forget. "The special benefit is over," she announced. "From this moment onward, we will operate with individual budgets." Her tone was rehearsed. Corporate, as if she were dismissing an employee not speaking to her husband. I didn't object. I just smiled, nodded, and said, naturally. She interpreted it as submission. I knew it was the start. We had met years ago in a conference room neither of us truly belonged in. Two trainees pretending to be essential. She was brilliant, fierce, and formidable. I adored that about her. I helped her ascend, introduced her to people who could make her chief executive officer. And when she reached that position, she forgot who constructed the means of ascent. The change began subtly. Calls she'd taken another chamber. Travels that suddenly couldn't include partners. Passwords that shifted. Affection had become procedure. I turned into her ornament. Refined, quiet, and excluded from the budget. The first true rupture appeared one evening when I returned home early from a client meeting. She was in the sitting room whispering into her phone, chortling softly in a manner she hadn't in months. "Yes, next weekend," she said. When she noticed me, her face reset. Professional again. Chilly. "You are home ahead of schedule." That's when I knew. Not suspected, knew. But I didn't confront her. I simply committed every detail to memory. She thought funds granted her authority. That cutting me off financially would humiliate me. What she didn't grasp was that I'd been the designer of her company's base, her financial structure, her silent associate, the name that appeared on every property, deed, every shared account. When she spoke of separate budgets, she had no idea. I'd already begun segregating her assets. It commenced quietly. A few transfers, legitimate, invisible, a signature here, a code there. Then came the records updates to ownership redirections, of dividends and minor revisions. That made me majority stakeholder in the very company she thought she governed. I didn't require her money. I required her awakening. Sunday gatherings were her custom. Every week her family arrived. Precise timing, perfect smiles, perfect falsehoods. Her mother always went straight to the kitchen, critiquing the spices, the setup, the union. She worshipped power, and my wife was her reflection. That Sunday I was composed. The table was set immaculately in our home in Seattle, Washington. The food prepared by catering paid with her personal allowance looked splendid. My wife Jessica was luminous, smug, unaware that the entire company she boasted about was about to slide through her manicured grip. They all sat down, commending her triumph. My mother-in-law, between mouthfuls of imported meat, asked, "So how is the company performing, darling?" The newspaper reported emerging action. "Yes," my wife said proudly. "Everything is under my direction." That was when I placed the folder on the table. Simple black, unmarked. "Actually," I said softly, "that is what I wanted to discuss." She frowned, irritated by the interruption. "What is this?" "Ownership transfer documents," I said. "Your company, technically our company, has a new majority shareholder." Her hand froze midair. Her mother leaned forward, perplexed. "What do you imply?" My wife's voice was frail. "You are jesting." I met her eyes. "You should read before affixing your signature to things, my dear, especially the amendments you sanctioned 4 months ago." It struck her then, the recollection of me managing her legal paperwork. The quiet trust she'd long stopped doubting. The color drained from her face. Her mother snatched the folder and began perusing. The scream that followed shattered the afternoon. It was primitive, sharp, echoing beyond the walls. Neighbors later said they thought someone had perished. In a way, someone had. She ran to her study, searching through files, calling her counsel, her accountant. But every contact led back to me. Every document bore my subtle markings. Even the luxury apartment lease, the one she boasted about possessing, was in my name. She had terminated my special benefit, and I had eliminated her delusion. I stood at the entryway as she comprehended it all. "How could you?" she whispered. "Why?" "How?" I repeated cautiously. She tried to regain control of herself. "You will destroy everything." "No," I said. I simply returned the courtesy. "You desired separate lives. Now you possess one. Yours alone. Without me. Without the enterprise we built." She collapsed into the chair, trembling not from poverty, but from exposure. Her mother's eyes flickered between us, horror dawning as the reality settled in. That was my moment of tranquility. Not victory, just quiet equity. The next day, headlines ran, "Chief Executive Officer steps down amid ownership conflict." She told the media it was a reorganization. I told no one anything. Silence was the final authority she couldn't seize. Now, when people inquire about her, I say she's managing well. She is just not where she envisioned. The new chief executive officer is competent, respectful, and forthright. The company prospers under genuine leadership. And as for me, my budget remains separate exactly as she wished. But sometimes when I pass by our old house, I still hear that scream, resonating through my mind, the sound of recognition. That's the thing about special treatment. It isn't bestowed. It's loaned. And the moment you forget who signed the loan, you forfeit everything.